Hey guys, this is Dan.
This is Arsha,
And this is Get to Give.
and our topic of the day today is greed. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey guys. So, we've been off for
3 weeks, I think.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, I think we're due for an
And
apology.
I apologize. I had exams to deal with, and then I didn't have any time to, shoot videos, edit it, and after that, we both were so busy with, working and making that money for our intuition for next year. But we apologize for that, and we're back on track. So, anyways, today's topic is greed.
Yes.
And I think it's a really big topic, and it's very important, even though it doesn't sound important. And it's one of the most important, things you have to understand when you want to, accomplish anything in your life.
Yeah, and these past few weeks, we've experienced the good side and the bad side of greed.
Yeah.
While at work and while in the industry and while, studying and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, today's first question is, what does greed do to people?
Well, I personally think greed makes people stay where they are and pull them down. And the reason behind that is because I believe that when you want everything for yourself, that's being greedy. Then if you just want everything and you don't want to share anything with anyone else, that's the type of greed I believe. That's the kind of the more, bigger picture of greed.
Oh yeah, and definitely that's one of the things that usually comes up, and it's very obvious, like when somebody's greedy.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about like how greed affects success. Like, do you think people are successful when they're greedy?
Well, in some ways, there are success. Like, I'm not saying you cannot become successful if you're greedy. There are people who are greedy and they become successful, but there are not people. I haven't seen anyone that are greedy, successful, and happy. Because when you want everything for yourself and you're not willing to share, and people around you are just not in a good situation, and they see you as this greedy person, as this bad person, I think that gives them more of a negative energy around you. And when there's so much negativity around you, your happiness just.
I know, and let's think about one of the obvious examples, Scrooge.
What?
Scrooge, remember the Christmas Carol?
The Grinch?
Ebenezer Scrooge, remember? When he actually, he's a wealthy owner of a big factory, and he gets visited by the ghost of Christmas past.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about the Grinch.
Oh, the Grinch too, actually.
Yeah.
That's another obvious example. But those are very, very
mythical.
Mythical and stereotypical examples. But in today's world, you see people who, hog their success and don't let anybody else join in to the fortune. And that causes that whole difference between high class and low class.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at wealthy people, and I don't want to say any names, but you see a lot of wealthy people, and people think of them as bad people, and they think they are very, they're not good people. As that's why they say money is root to all evil. I don't want to get into all that religion stuff now, but that's why when you see a rich person that's greedy, yeah, they have the money, but do they have the wealth? And by that wealth, I mean, do they have the happiness? Do they have the good friends and family around them? Well, I don't think so, because there was a really very interesting story from when I was a kid, and this was a true story. So there was two farmers. One was very, very wealthy, and the other one was, he was making good money. And one day, like he was growing fruits, and one day this donkey walked into this farm and ate a couple of their apples, So what the owner of that, the wealthy guy, did, he sewed the donkey's mouth, so the donkey doesn't eat, the fruits anymore. And a couple weeks after, he had, like, the wealthy guy, he had two sons. A couple weeks after, the two sons were working on this, what's it called, AC, like, to fix the AC, and one gets electrocuted, and he just he just freezes there, and the brother sees him get electrocuted, so he went to grab him, and he gets electrocuted too, and they both die. And then this guy, like, lost everything because his sons were everything to him. And the other guy, the farmer that was, like, in medium level, he wasn't very wealthy. He would give away his employees that he loved, like, they loved him, and, like, he always gave back to the people, and he always lived a happy life. And to me, and this is a true story, and to me that's a really good example of when you give back, even though you don't have as much, you live a happier life.
Yeah, and maybe that's how there are some businesses that we've seen and how they operate, and some of them operate with that sort of ideal in mind, where they decide to give to their employees more than they should, as in the views of other companies, but that's what they feel like they deserve, and that's where quality comes in, and that's how some people operate their business. And there are some other businesses who basically cheap out and have very poor construction, very poor materials, very poor paid management, exactly, and then they charge a same amount of money to the customer. And you know what, at the end of the day, who has to feel the results of that? The company and the customer, because they both feel like one's been cheated, and the other one feels like, well, we're not getting enough work and we're not getting enough word of mouth because everybody's passing on the bad word.
Yeah, exactly. And you see that in a lot of companies, like for example, Bill Gates, in the last what was it, like 20 years, he's donated over $30 billion. Bill Gates and his wife foundation, I forgot his wife's name, Bill Gates and Melissa Gates, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, they donated so much money, and as far as I know,
it was a million. They donate close to like 100 million every year, kind of thing.
No, in total, in the last 20 years, they donated over 30 billion.
Did they?
Yeah, that's what I read online. But, anyways, so as far as I know, he lives a happy life. I don't know. I haven't talked to Bill Gates recently. I'm just kidding. But that being said, being greedy is just, you don't live in a happy life. I remember I used to just want success for myself, and even though now I like to help people, and that way I feel better. And now knowing that last step of success is not the last step, happiness is, and working towards my happiness and doing what what makes me happy actually makes me feel more successful than just trying to have everything myself. Of course, I want to be able to be, afford anything I want and be able to help others. But being greedy won't let me or anyone that I know to get there.
And that's another thing, how greed can make you lose opportunities. And that is a big topic, because if you think about it, well, let's talk about an business and operation, since this is a business channel. You have a contract. That contract is given entirely to you.
Yeah.
Now, if you decide to do all the work yourself and hog all the profit, at the end of the day, you'll be rich. You'll have all the money.
You'll be that much richer.
That much richer is exactly. But you will be exhausted. You will be drained.
Mm-hmm.
You will be a single entity.
Yeah. Not to mention the quality.
Yeah, the quality, because as time progresses, you won't be able to keep up with the quality, and you'll be trying to get as much profit as you can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when you're working with a team, you'll have people who you can trust, people who can help you whenever you need to. You'll have a connection, and you'll have future business opportunities because of maybe those contractors now work for somebody else, but they can hire you or your people to do something more.
Yeah.
And you know what? You were saying that your dad's been not placed an ad for like 10 years
Yeah.
almost,
Yeah, like,
because of his word of mouth and his quality of work.
yes, exactly. And that's, my father is in the construction business, and he's never done any kind of advertising because of the quality and the trust he has, and he's not greedy. If he wants to, sometimes if he sees something is necessary and something looks good, he will take the extra step to make it look that way. So the customer satisfaction is his number one priority. And knowing that, like for example, if you are around a lot of people who are becoming successful, or you're around a lot of people who are being who can offer you opportunities, if you're not willing to help them out, even though you won't get anything, if you're not willing to do that, they're not never going to come to you and say, hey, just because you did this, well, I know you're doing a good job on this, so here, have this opportunity. They're not going to come do that for you because they don't know what you're capable of. Sometimes you're going to have to do things for free just to show people your loyalty and what you're capable of. And then you never know when you need that person, or that person brings up another opportunity much bigger than your first one that you did for free.
And you know what? Another thing about this, because that whole idea behind it is volunteering.
Yeah.
Volunteering for somebody and volunteering to help them and giving a few hours of your time will pay out. Maybe not instantly. Maybe you'll feel tired. Maybe you'll feel cheaped out. But at the end of the day, when somebody will think about you, will think that, hey, that guy offered me his help,
Exactly.
with expecting nothing in return.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can give him the opportunity to return something
Exactly.
for him.
And
you know what? I've done that a few times, and I'm sure you've done that a few times. And what were the results of that?
well, first of all, volunteering in general, it's so good just for your resume. And when people see that you volunteer your time for a specific task, they're gonna value you higher, because they say you're not just in it for the money. You will do a good quality just because you love what you're doing, and that's important. And with me, whenever I volunteered my time or my energy or anything, I felt so much better. I felt more rewarded than working for hourly wage job. Yeah, like if it was a contract, like I would feel good. If I get money, I would still feel good, but I felt much more. I felt like I accomplished something more than money when I volunteer my time.
Yeah, and same for me. Like, okay, yes, I had moments when I thought, wow, this sucks.
Yeah.
And that is a normal feeling, and there's there's nothing in the way of it. So it's okay, it's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, at the end of that, the people saw that I was willing to put that extra step, go that extra mile, go give it that extra bit of quality, even though there was nothing in return.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, they offered me a bigger job, a bigger pay, and something that was totally worth it. And yes, it was on my resume. And yes, people actually give you good references just in exchange for that.
Yeah.
People actually are willing to sacrifice a little bit more for you and fight more for you because they've seen that sort of result.
See that potential in you.
Yeah, and greed really takes that away from you. It's like, basically, if you want to do a small job and you still ask for money, even though you could do it for free, you've gained the money to that,
but not the loyalty of that customer.
Exactly.
And that's more rewarding. Like if you have a good line of customers who are loyal to you, it's more likely you achieve more than just in it for the money. That's why a lot of companies, even especially in startups, they care so much about the quality and their customer satisfaction, but then they lose that track as the company grows, and then all of a sudden the company starts going bankrupt. And I've seen that many times.
And you've seen that a lot. We've seen that a lot in the banking industry.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of banks that started out with customers first, safety and customer and satisfaction and all of that, and slowly it just became satisfaction and profit, and then profit, and they kept pushing the idea behind profit rather than the customer, and now they have been constantly losing their customers to other services that offered quality.
Yeah, like for example, with me, like I'll give you an example. I had when I like my old car was a Nissan, and when my car broke down, I took it to Nissan dealership, and they said you have to pay for it, and it was a used car, so there was no warranty anymore. But before that, we had my mom, she had a Toyota, which was still used, which was like 2007, and the year was like 2012 when I took it to the shop. They didn't charge me. It didn't even have warranty. They just, okay, it's a little problem, we'll do it. That's why, personally, I really like Toyota, and I don't have a good experience with Nissan, but yours is different.
Yeah, exactly. Because I have a Nissan, and whenever I had a problem with it, they took care of it. They made sure, and they went that extra mile to ever repair it and bring it to even better than factory condition. Yeah. So even within the same company, you can see the results of a different service, because you had a terrible experience.
Yeah, and that's why like my new car is Toyota, and I wanted Toyota because of the customer, like because of how they took care of me, and that's very important. Even if you're just starting out, like you don't have a company, nothing, and you're working for someone else, if you work for the money, which is the greed, like if your goal is money in your job, in your task you're doing, if you're getting hourly wage, if it's just for the money, you're gonna do an okay job, and you're maybe gonna stay where you are for a very long time. But if you love what you're doing, and that's important, you can't really do a good job if you don't love it.
Yeah.
So if you do a good job at it and you take the extra step, your employer is gonna see that. Your employer is gonna value that, and then you have more potential to come higher within that company, make more money, and have more responsibilities, and be more engaged within the company than you were before. But if you're just you're just doing what you're supposed to do, and then right on the minute you check out, you just
somebody will see it.
Yeah, you're just gonna stay where you are if you don't put the extra step, and you just want your money.
Yeah, you just want your pay. And like you've said, you've picked Toyota because of their service. I've picked Nissan because of their service.
Yeah.
So there are competing ideas, but at the end of the day, we both picked quality, we both picked people, and we both picked relationships between us and the service we're being offered.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way to show you that there's another thing in this. Money does not equal actual profit.
Exactly.
And time does not equal actual money.
Exactly.
Even though time is money, and we all know that.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is that even investors, like even if you watch transactions between companies, and for example, Dragon's Den. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just it's just an example. Or Shark Tank, if you guys are in the US. A lot of investors, they say we invest in people, not the product. Yeah, that means the product has to be good, has to be on point, but they rely more on the person that is not greedy. That's why a lot of investors say, I've even heard investors say, I don't care about the product. Like, product is nothing. I want to invest in the person, because the product can be changed at any time, not the person.
Exactly. And the mentality is very important. And for this sort of thing, we've actually had videos.
Yeah. Check
out our previous selection on exercises that will make you less greedy and put more dedication into you.
Yeah, exactly. So that being said, that's the end of the day, and we should wrap this up.
Yeah, so please don't forget to
subscribe and give us a thumbs up.
And if you have any comments or questions, please put them in the section below. Yeah. Have a good one.
Bye.